What's up, guys? Welcome to this video. I'm joined by Spencer yet again. We're going to be doing a week 2 sit start review, followed by our week 3 sit starts. So, Spencer, welcome, man. What'd you
Yo,
think, man? Give me your overview of week 2.
bro, I think I whiffed on the starts a little bit. Probably 1 for 3. I had Rashid Shaheed, Mac Jones, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones obviously popped off, even though the Giants looked like absolute dog water in the first half.
Yeah.
Got a
It's-
little spicy with the other two, but I think they didn't, underperform so severely that you're kicking yourself. It depends on where your team was sitting, but yeah, I'm probably
yeah.
1 for 3.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you called Daniel Jones, who was the QB1 on the week,
Yeah,
so that's like a god tier call for sure. Jones, I feel like game script could have went his way. It was just a
Mac
weird game,
Jones.
dude. Yeah, Mac Jones, just a
Yeah.
strange game.
I think he had a lot
Um,
of deep shots downfield that didn't
yeah,
connect, and
for sure.
obviously, if they get that final like touchdown drive going, maybe he gets another touchdown and
Yeah.
is sitting at like 20 points or something. But yeah, it's okay.
My starts, on the other hand,
He.
went crazy. I am him. I'm he. I'm thee. So I had Christian Kirk, who went 11 for 14, 110 yards, who was the wide receiver 20 on the week. Not too crazy. Probably didn't like win you the week if you started him, but based on how dog water he was in week 2, or I'm sorry, in week 1, I think it was a pretty nice call saying that there'd be a turnaround. Game script kind of went his way. And my second start was Nico Collins, who went fucking hyperbolic, parabolic, quadratic, whatever you want to call it, dude. Nico Collins went ham. 146 on 7 receptions for a touchdown. He was wide receiver 4 on the week. Just popped the fuck off. I was very stoked about that call. And then my third guy was Hunter Henry, who also tight end 2 on the week. 6 for 7 for 52 yards and another touchdown. Looks like Hunter Henry is the red zone guy for the Patriots. If you have Hunter Henry, you should be very happy because the tight end landscape is a fucking barren wasteland. Yeah, anyone with a fucking heartbeat at this point is a solid start. So Spencer, it is now 1-3.
So why don't we switch it up and talk about the players that we were nervous about for week 2? This is just a recap. So players that we were sitting. So we had 4 on the list. It was Terry McLaurin, Drake London, Joe Burrow, and Najee Harris. So I would say we're about 2 for 4 on this one. Obviously, Terry McLaurin had a pretty solid outing, nothing insane. Drake London had a nice bounce back. Good to see that, but again, we were just tempering expectations because we weren't sure are they going to keep running the ball a ton. Burrow, I think he didn't have a Burrow performance, but like
14 points.
yeah, he was a little pedestrian for what you expect out of Burrow. So we're gonna count that one, and then Najee obviously absolutely
Dumpster
just
fire.
dumpster fire. I think I'm
Prom
worried
night
about
dumpster
Najee
baby.
long term on the
Yeah.
season, and even Burrow. Like I don't even know if he's gonna start next week. Like this injury, is that what's causing it? I don't know, but yeah, I think we're like 2 for 4 on that one.
I think they played two very good opponents week 1 and
That's
2.
true.
The Browns and the Ravens look to have two of the better defenses. But yeah, I think two for two is not too bad, or two and two. Um, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think the sits hurts more or the starts helps more? Like if somebody
For
sits someone who pops off, like for me, I lost because I sat Drake London.
Yeah,
Right?
I think sitting people always hurts more from an emotional standpoint, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
What are you
I
gonna do?
That's how you win fantasy weeks, though, is making those gutsy calls where you're sitting someone that might not perform.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's never gonna be 100. I think we did okay for our first attempt at that.
Yeah,
Now let's
especially
head.
kind of spicy, right?
Yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of
those are
the
spicy ones.
gutsy
Those are
calls.
top 5 round
Yeah,
players only. Like the disclaimer we had was for our sits, it can only be players in the first 4 rounds or so, and for our starts, it can only be players after the first 4 rounds. So I think that's a nice way to do it. Where it actually like means something to you guys. So anyway, let's hop on over then, Spencer, and we will do our week 3 starts and sits. Why don't you give me your first guy?
all right, players that I'm starting. The first one, Russell Wilson. I think that he's probably not going to have a job by the end of this season. But as far as like this week, the over under is 48. The guy is returned to form with the run game, like him actually running the ball himself. So he has that upside possibly once again. He's probably going to be scrambling a ton. So yeah, I like Russell Wilson for the weekly matchup.
Yeah, I mean the math makes sense or the science makes sense. You know, it's a good matchup. It's a good over under. He's been throwing the ball deep pretty well. But dude, are you ready to ride? Are you ready to cook with
Broncos
Russell?
country.
Let's
I
ride.
mean, I think
I
he's
don't
like
know.
the QB2
Sketch.
on the year right now. So,
Yeah, it's
and
2
with all
weeks in
the,
though.
yeah,
But
I know, but it's again, I like to play the matchups. I mean, obviously, if you're starting, like if you have Jalen Hurts, don't sit Jalen Hurts for Russell Wilson.
true.
Um,
If you're
but
streaming,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. If you had Aaron Rodgers, again, if you have an underperforming QB, then
yeah.
start Russell Wilson.
All right, we'll do a little swing where we'll
Zigzag.
see. Yeah, we'll zig it.
All
So
right.
my guy, just gonna call out my quarterback as well, just to kind of match you. It's Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is probably having one of the better statistical years for him for in his career that he's ever had. And in this game, it's a 54.5 over under, and they're underdogs. So
And
he's
it's a
been great.
must-win week for
Yeah,
both teams. Both teams are
yeah,
0-2 because they're versus the Chargers. And I think like historically, like 99 out of 99 teams that are 0-3 don't make the playoffs. I don't
yeah.
know. I might be just making up statistics, but that's just something I heard. So
And he's
uh,
playing for his Twilight contract too, because
yeah,
I don't think he's going to be on the Vikings next season.
I think that's the same thing like with Russ. It's like
Yeah,
he's got the target on his back. So yeah, I expect a shootout. I think Kirk
yeah,
Cousins is a very good pick for sure.
they're both 0-2, dude. That's so
Yeah,
wild, so
crazy.
wild. I thought
Yeah.
they'd both be 2-0 through the first 2 weeks. But
Nah, dude.
anyway,
Washington Commanders and Bucks 2-0. I called it. Said no
yeah,
one.
everyone did. Yeah, so that's my pick at quarterback. I smash him this week. It's going to be a shootout. So like play anyone in both those in that matchup. Play anyone you have on both
Yep,
sides of the ball. So who's your
bro.
next guy?
Yeah, zag back to me. Gabe Davis is my pick. The reason is like, obviously he went off this last week and he's on the Bills. But he's a perennial like boom or bust wide receiver 4. Like the dude is either gonna get you 2 points or he's gonna get you 18. Um, so I
What's
think
the
this is.
chance for more than that? Honestly, you can like pop for like a
Oh, he could
random
go
30
for
spot.
30. Yeah, so
Yeah,
2 or 30. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think he potentially could have a repeat this week, and so it could be another boom week for Gabe Davis. So I'm gonna roll with him this week and see what happens. It's kind of
yeah.
a coin flip, but
It's a dubious proposition saying Gabe Davis is going to pop off 2 weeks in a row. I
yeah,
commend you for that. But if he does, listen, you got to catch up somehow, man. I got you
yeah,
3-1 so far.
yeah,
All right, so Gabe Davis is your guy. Back to me. This one is kind of a little bit sketchy. I don't feel too great about it, but I also feel really great about it, if that makes any sense. And it's Isaiah Pacheco. And it's very simple why. It's a 47.5 over under. And the Chiefs are a 13.5 point favorite over the Bears. The Bears do not have a very good run defense. They're like middle of the pack by PFF standards. So Isaiah Pacheco, I think, is in a smash start. I mean, a 13.5 point differential. It's pretty wild. That's like probably the highest blowout or predicted blowout that I've seen so far this season. Um, so I think Pacheco smashes. I think he probably gets into the end zone finally. He's looked really good on the ground. Doesn't really get a lot of receiving work, but he's looked good. You know, the work that he has been getting. So back to you.
yeah. I mean, not much to say on Pacheco there. I think he's one of the reliable running backs left with all the RB landscape getting torched this last
Yeah.
week. So yeah, he's got a solid floor and I think some good upside this
But
week.
now that he's on my team, he's gonna like break his ankle, and
Yeah,
I'm cursed.
he's
Anyway,
gonna pull a Josh Kelly and be
yeah,
like
three
fantasy
points
irrelevant. Yeah.
probably.
So I'm going back to the well with the Broncos offense, and I'm going Courtland Sutton. Uh, yeah, he's not a guy that's like popped off like insane, but I feel like he's got that volume there, and if he just breaks off, breaks a few more tackles, like gets in the end zone. Yeah, Courtland Sutton is an interesting play. Like I don't think Jerry Judy is 100%. Marvin Mims only got 2 receptions. Again, we already touched on with Russ with my first pick that the over under is 48. So for all those reasons, and I mean, granted, you're probably already starting Courtland Sutton anyway, but if you have some weird
Mm,
decision making, I mean, he's a flex 100% because he
you
hasn't
think?
even gone under like, yeah, he hasn't even gone under like 11 fantasy
I
points.
mean, I
So
would have never drafted him, so I can't say, but
yeah, yeah, maybe maybe bias, but
I guess he's
yeah,
your boy, right?
I mean, I traded him away in a dynasty league, but yeah, for redraft for this week, I think Sutton is a good
Yeah.
start.
Yeah, nice little correlation there. If you do have Russ as one of your starts of the week, it makes sense to get one of his weapons, right? You sneaky dog. You sly dog. And it's
Thanks,
back to
bro.
my last guy to close out these starts of the week. This one, Spencer kind of shamed me a little bit as I told him right before we hit record, and he's like, "What? Everybody's starting this guy." But it's Chris Godwin,
What?
and
Everybody's starting this guy.
that's exactly how it went, dude. It's deja vu. Chris Godwin. So the Buccaneers are going to be playing the Eagles, um, which typically would be a very difficult proposition, right? Baker Mayfield against this Eagles defense, but we do have a 46-point over under, and they're only like 5-point dogs, the Buccaneers, which is not nothing, but it's also not 13 and a half the way the Bears are, right? Which makes me think that the 2-0 Buccaneers might be able to hold court against the Eagles, or at least stay in the game as much. I think they'll be losing most of the game. I think Baker's going to throw it a lot, and I think Mike Evans is probably going to get shadowed. They're going to probably want to take him away with how much he's been popping off the last couple weeks. I think that means that a guy like Chris Godwin is going to be open quite a lot, in those short and intermediate routes. I just think Baker's going to have not a lot of time to throw the ball or to wait for routes to develop. I think Chris Godwin's going to be a nice underneath safety valve for him.
So you're always about the devil's advocate when I got my start, so I'll hit you with the devil's advocate on this one. I think that the Bucks are just going to get absolutely destroyed, and that's why, uh, you know, neither Mike Evans nor Chris Godwin are going to get fantasy relevant points because Rashad White can't run the ball. The dude is awful on the
He looked
ground.
good last week or this week.
I I don't think he's efficient though. Like he just gets an insane amount of carries. So when you go against a team like the Eagles, I don't know. I just think that you could see Chris Godwin go for like under 50 yards, and I wouldn't be surprised. So that's my hot take of Devil's Advocate
This is
against you.
okay. So my response to that is this: Rashad White. I know typically like we use him as a verb, like that guy Rashad Whited. It's when you go like 14 for 50 yards and no touchdowns. But I will say this week he looked good. He had probably I think one of the highest missed tackle rates this week. But you're right. Like
It was against the Bears.
I
I don't
can
know.
see, yeah, exactly. I can see a dumpster fest. uh, I could see it happening. I can see the Eagles having a get right game, squeak a wheel, gets the grease. I think AJ Brown pops off. I think the Eagles defense shows up.
And
That's
trust me, I like
possible,
I like Baker Mayfield's moxie and his swagger, but I think it might get him in trouble with the Eagles where he's trying to do too much and be this cowboy gunslinger and he just starts throwing in,
dude.
starts
He won
getting
me over.
blasted.
Yeah, but he won me over, dude. I think it was week 1 when he was like, "Get that weight up, boy."
Yeah, yeah, when he
He's
got
like
the first down.
just
Yeah.
bodied some dudes. Get that weight up. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
dude, how much moxie, man? You
How
were
do
like
you
a
not want to
backup for
start
like
that
3
guy?
seasons.
All right, bro, let's
True.
get into the sits. Cuz I know
Sits.
the starts are exciting, but the
Yeah,
sits are where the spice is, I feel.
that is true. So give me your first one.
My first one, DeAndre Hopkins. I just don't think that Hopkins can perform on this team. Tannehill is a fart. That's all I got to say.
Dude, a devil's advocate, Tannehill was like QB5 this week and looked good. He had like 4 incomplete passes. I know. But he's a fart. He solidified from gas form to a solid just for one game. I imagine him going back to a gaseous fart form this week. So I like it. And Hopkins, he looks like he's a little hampered by injuries. So that's a good one. Next guy is George Kittle. Not much to say other than the fact that George Kittle really hasn't done shit thus far. They are blowing teams out. They're running the ball. George Kittle's probably one of the best blocking tight ends ever. He's also one of the best receiving tight ends ever. But if they don't need him to receive, they're just not going to use him in that way. You
Yeah.
know? So
Not much else to say there. I
yeah.
think, yeah, you hit all the points. There's no
Yeah.
devil's advocate to play there.
Okay, good. And then the next pick, who is it, Spencer?
Breece
It's
Hall.
two people. Yeah.
Well, it's primarily Breece Hall because you drafted him probably in the third round. You could tack on Dalvin Cook and just say the whole Jets backfield. The reason being, not Russell Wilson, the other Wilson. I got Russ on the brain. Our boy Zach Wilson, the young god. He's not pushing the ball down the field. He's not doing much of anything. I think that the Jets, it goes through the defense if they win a game. The defense is going to get them wins. So yeah, I don't see Brees going for what he did week one. I think that was a fluky game. He just ripped off a fat run. He's not getting the volume. He got 4 touches. For all those reasons, I'm avoiding the entire Jets backfield, but especially Brees.
Yeah, I think the when it comes to our sits of the week, I think the Jets are just going to be like the fucking watering hole, dude. Just gather at the watering hole every dusk for some nice sits of the week, dude. Because
I
it's
think,
going to be the case. He's just so
yeah,
bad.
I think Garrett Wilson actually could be a start each week simply because I think
He's
he's
good.
so talented that he
Yeah.
can perform with a Zach Wilson throwing him the ball,
I
which is
mean,
very
that's
rare.
yeah.
Not every wide receiver can do that.
2 weeks in a row, he's had a
Yeah.
touchdown where both of them were only because of him.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
yeah, I see that. I see that as well. That's a good one. No devil's advocate coming from me. And my sit of the week are I mean these are from both of all of these are from both of us, but Jerome Ford or whoever starts for the Browns, I'd be very weary of playing any of them this week. I know Jerome Ford's going to be a big waiver wire pickup for a lot of people this week. I'd be very hesitant to start him because they will be playing the Titans, who are probably the best rush defense in the league this year. That's just how they've always been. I think it's by design. Mike Vrabel is just very much a take away the run, force teams to beat us through the pass. The Titans have always been a pass funnel. So, with that in mind, I wouldn't be starting any of the Browns running backs, whoever it might be, against the Titans. Definitely pick him up. Definitely blow your fab load on him. But I'd say this week, temper your
I
expectations.
mean, we just saw it, right? Everyone picked up Josh Kelly. Everyone started Josh Kelly
Fart.
expecting a week one run back. And what happened against the Titans?
Fart.
Farts. We just love saying farts today, but
Week before, Jamal Williams,
yeah,
fart, dude.
it's
The
just
king of
like, and
farts.
obviously these aren't big names, but that's the point. Is like, maybe if it's Eckler back there or Chubb back there, then you have a different story.
Yeah,
But when you're starting a backup against an elite run defense, that's a pass. That's a sit from me.
yeah. That's a fart brewing for sure.
Bro, I hope no one. Actually, no. I
I'm
want
gonna
everyone to
censor
watch.
fart.
I want everyone to watch the whole video, but
I'm just
for
gonna
the people
censor
that are
every fart
for the
because
people
then
that are still here, they're like, bro, why are these guys talking about farts so much? What is going on? I thought this was fantasy
there's
football.
gonna be a timestamp that sends you straight to the farts, dude.
Bro, if you're still here, hashtag farts in the comments so we know
Yeah,
you're about that life.
and dude, like and
Yeah.
subscribe, man. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed,
Dude,
shame on you. You are a fart.
I just feel like we're bringing actual good sit starts without without going into the
I
easy
mean,
mode, right?
one of us is bringing good systems,
Bro,
but
I'm just saying, man, out there you go
one.
watch that content. It's like, "Oh, yeah, start the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah,
Go
start Jalen Hurts.
start Christian McCaffrey
Yeah,
this week."
yeah. Agreed. Spencer, thanks for joining me again, guys. If you
Thanks,
are
man.
still here, hashtag fart, like, subscribe. We're trying to hit 100 subs. Maybe we'll even hit 100 by this because this will be go out in a day. So we'll see you guys next time. Peace.